Do you want to know how to make success easy and effortless? I remember before I became an entrepreneur, I spent 8 years working for a big banking corporation. And one of the things that just baffled me was that I kept winning awards. I even won a few trips to the Bahamas. And I didn't know how I actually did it. Until I started poking around and asking myself some questions. What separates me, a champion club winner, and the average employee that was working there? I wasn't necessarily going for the trips. I wasn't necessarily going for the awards and recognition. Instead, as my role as a financial advisor, I was consistently asking myself, how can I help the person in front of me? What I love about that question was that it opened up possibilities. It opened up a way of my thinking to let me get into an expanded realm of possibilities. How can I help the person in front of me? And my goal really was, no matter who the person was, no matter what their situation, no matter what their problem was, I was gonna find them a solution. I was gonna offer them something that would make their life better. And as it turns out, because I did that day in, day out with every single customer, it created an award for me in my particular job role. And that's nice, and I celebrated that. But I think the most important part of this example that I'm sharing with you right now is I rewind it back up into my thinking. And my thinking had a strong intention and an open-ended possibility-focused type of questioning and reasoning for me. My intention for you right now is to really understand your brain. And I want you to go into that thought because your brain is where everything is controlled. And within the brain, it processes our thoughts. What's so important here is that most people try to reorganize their life and their circumstances with things that have already materialized, with things that have already happened in the given reality. And those are called our results. And as we talked about before with success, results are really you're doing and getting the things that you said you were going to do, and that's it. Now the results have already happened though. How did we actually get there? And how does the brain come into play with this? If we look at this formula and backtrack, reverse engineer it essentially, before the results are basically our behavior or our actions. And our behavior and actions are things that if we're not conscious or aware of it, we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And as many of us have heard before, if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. It's one of my favorite quotes. So, what drives behavior? What drives our actions on a daily basis? Well, it's our emotional states. And so if you backtrack again, the emotional state that you're in heavily impacts your behavior, which then of course heavily impacts the results you have in your life, especially in your day-to-day basis. So if we look at emotional states, we're talking about the emotions of fear, the emotions of love, elation, happiness, we're talking about joy, we're also talking about frustration, we're talking about, anger even, sadness, there's a whole range of emotions. And we all have seen this before. I mean, when you're happy, when you're excited, then you tend to have a lot more motivation. When you're even curious, you tend to be a little more motivated to even take small steps. When we're sad, when we're angry, when we're frustrated, we may still be doing things, but our actions are not necessarily the kinds of actions that will give us the results that we really truly want. So where does the emotional state come from though? Well, even that, backtrack it to the original source. It comes from the brain and it comes from your thoughts. Now here's a tip, a special nugget that I really want you to take home with you. You don't have to believe every thought that passes your mind or goes through your brain. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is sometimes, because we're so inundated with all this different information, we also have the voices of the people that are close to us, our family members, our spouses, our friends even, and sometimes ourselves, most of the time ourselves, we have a lot of different thoughts that pass through our mind. If we believed and listened to every single thought, we might even go crazy. And some of us do go crazy internally. I know I certainly have in my past. And so I needed a way to figure out, to get my thoughts in alignment. I needed a way to get my thoughts in congruency with who it is that I wanted to be and what it is that I wanted to do to get to the results that I actually wanted. And the cool thing is that if you allow yourself to kind of hands off and really look at yourself from a bird's eye view, that's going to really help you notice what kind of thoughts are actually passing through your head. A successful person is available for success and therefore thinks about things in terms of, how can I be a success? An unsuccessful person, a person not dedicated, not committed to the things that they want to do or the person that they want to be, has thoughts that hold them back from success, have thoughts that really keep them pushed down and keep them limited. And so if we look at what kinds of successful thoughts I mean like, I am a powerhouse. I am amazing. I am a beacon of light. I am successful. I can do this. I will do this. All these different types of thoughts. Now, different things that you put into your mind, again, you don't even have to believe it necessarily, but I want you to learn how to monitor how you feel directly after you have a thought. Because remember how we said, it starts with thoughts, which drives your emotional state, which then drives your behavior, and your action over time drives your results. If you actually take some time, and I'm not talking about a lot of time, I'm thinking like a couple of minutes, your body is constantly talking to you. And here's another special nugget, your body is essentially robotic. It will feel whatever is necessary and in alignment with your thought. So if you take a moment and sit down, you can actually feel your breathing. You can actually really hear all the different things that are going up in your head, and you can actually sense when something shifts or moves. So I want you to take a moment right now, and you can even practice at home. If you take a deep breath in and take it back out, you'll actually notice that your lungs went in and out, and you'll notice that you probably had a little moment of ease there, just because you're breathing. Now let's measure it alongside with a thought. Let's say you think to yourself, oh, I'm a bad person. Okay, just notice how you feel right after. Now that's a very extreme thought. Some of us actually have those thoughts on an ongoing basis, and it makes their emotional state into a very lethargic, low state. If you try on a different thought, perhaps, you know what? I'm willing to feel a little better. Notice how you feel right after you say that. You might notice your breathing changes. You might notice that your shoulders actually go back. And actually, why don't you force yourself to feel differently just by getting into the physiology of a thoughtful person who's in success thought format? Well, what does a confident person look like? Shoulders back, chin up a little bit, big smile, or even just a relaxed face. Try it on. You don't have to believe it right away, but just try it on. And now, with that forced state for you, try on the thought saying, you know what? I am pretty confident. Don't go overboard. Just give it a little bit of nudging. Or, I'm okay. I feel a little better. Say these things to yourself over and over again, and right after, just notice your state. The third component here is about the behavior. Now, here is something that I want to give you to help you become successful easily and effortlessly. The common thought that stops people all the time when they're trying to achieve a life that they actually want to live, when they're trying to be the kind of person they actually want to be, is they say to themselves, well, I don't know how to do this, or I can't do this, or I'm not the kind of person who's successful. I can't do this, right? You can give yourself a shortcut to success by modeling the behavior of someone else who's already successful, or someone else who is the kind of person that you would like to be, or someone else who's role modeling excellence. And this is something that I love because it comes from my background in training with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, where we're actually programming our minds to work with us and make success easy and effortless. You don't have to make it up. There are people before you who've actually done what you want to do. There are so many things that are already done, and you don't have to figure it out on your own. You can role model the behavior of someone else before you who's done it. When I would look around me and I didn't have any role models in my direct circle, didn't have any role models in my direct family that I really wanted to look up to and actually say, you know what, I'd love to do what you do. My mom was working too hard, my dad wasn't around. My sister, she was amazing, but also away at university at the time when I was growing up. Just people in general in my direct life, there wasn't anyone there that I could role model after. So what did I start doing? That's when I became a voracious reader. That's when I started looking outside and saying, you know what? There is somebody out there that I know I can look up to and role model. Because guess what? I knew I wanted what they had, I just didn't know how to get there. And so when we actually look at learning and how behavior is shifted and modeled, we don't learn by words anyways. We actually learn by experiencing it, and we learn by watching. So I got into watching different videos of some of my favorite mentors: Oprah Winfrey, Jennifer Lopez, Anthony Robbins, even Richard Branson, all right? And recently, I'm really into Elon Musk. There is just so many of these amazing people who are role modeling for us what excellence looks like, right? What it could be like. And I studied their behavior. There were certain mannerisms and characteristics that they role modeled time and time again. And I was looking for all those consistencies and those patterns. So for ourselves, we just need to adopt them and remember that it does take some time to adopt those characteristics. It's just give yourself that shortcut and just go ahead and role model someone else who has what you want to have and who is who you want to be. All right, so let's summarize those 3 golden nuggets and really bring it close to home. Number 1, remember that you don't have to believe every thought that passes through your mind. And yes, it does all begin in your mind with your thoughts and with your brain. Number 2, you've got to shift your emotional state. And you can do it by either forcing it and/or thinking thoughts that give you the emotional state that you want, the excitement, the motivation, etc. And then number 3, you're gonna really want to role model excellence so that your behaviors and actions are already of excellence. Again, you don't have to make it up. If it's already been done before and you want that for yourself, role model. Remember how I said success can be easy and effortless? Well, those 3 principles are exactly what makes it easy and effortless. Because we've taken out a lot of the hard thinking, a lot of the analytical thinking. We've taken out the guesswork. We've gone ahead and made it simplified by just role modeling someone else who's doing what you want to do. And I've done this time and time again. Now, if you repeat something over time, enough times, it becomes your new habit. It becomes you. And I'm suggesting that if you actually allow yourself the time, energy, and resources to practice these things, playfully and with curiosity, in due time you're going to be a success yourself and you're going to find it really easy and really effortless. If you're thinking success right now and you're feeling success right now and you want to take action for success right now, then you're going to want to sign up for one of my free discovery sessions and to get your own personalized map of your own success plan today. So go ahead and sign up for a discovery session now, because remember, action takers are the ones who become successful. Remember, if you want to get more money, attract anything you want from life, and break through that glass ceiling that's been holding you down, then you're going to want to subscribe and get my weekly videos every single week. And go ahead and be a sweetheart and share it with some really good friends of yours. I would love that. Go ahead and subscribe now.